All right, so um, Nader Dabbit, he's awesome. He's very experienced. Does a lot of stuff with front end. Does some stuff with blockchain. Used to be, I think, worked with AWS. Anyway, good guy to follow. Very knowledgeable. He just did this recent little intro to creating a ChatGPT plugin, and I've been dabbling with it, ChatGPT a little bit lately, just obviously on my personally just to see what it's like, what it can do. Um, but yeah, I went through this tutorial. It uses Next.js. I honestly don't know React that well. I probably, admittedly, should just learn it, but I find that the syntax for I personally don't use React that much. I have way back, not way back, but when I first started learning anything front end, obviously you encounter React, and it was just a little too much, a little over my head. I'm a little bit more knowledgeable, slightly, on how front end works, um, but I've kind of gravitated to SvelteKit, spending time with it in my previous series, and I just find it pretty easy and straightforward to work with. Um, so therefore, I kind of want to, you know, slowly build off of that knowledge. Anyway, Nader went through it, and I have a repo that went through this with him, and it actually works. I got it up and going. It was really kind of neat. It's a simple to do. I guess I could open that up real quick. Chat. Yeah, so when you have access, and I pay the little monthly fee just to see, um, and anyway, you have this. You have this access to plugins and whatnot. And I got invited, I should say, to do the plugin. So if I click on this and I play around with this plugin, um, it's like a simple to do, very uh, oh boy, didn't mean to do that. So let's close that one and go over here. So now let's try this again. I've also been experimenting with some new uh, plugins. There's an extension in Chrome, super cool. It's called Vimium, Vimium, Chrome extension. Super neat. It basically allows you to do Vim keys. So you hit F to toggle on like what's available, and then you just type in the sequence of keys, and it will do it for you. Question mark pops up like a little helpful cheat sheet, essentially. I'm just using all defaults, just learning it a little bit. But so if I knew F and then W, it takes me down here into the. So let's say convert or add another to do. Convert Next.js plugin to SvelteKit, and I hit that, and if the network works out for me, yeah. So it's basically sending a request to error making call. Oh, it's because I'm not running it. If I were to go, let's see, and try this again. So if I do npm run dev, I believe we'll get it going. And then back over here, let's try again. Now that I have my server running, then it can send a request to my endpoint, and there you go. So it's working. Replace keyboard cable and convert Next.js. So I can say how many to-dos do I have? Something like that, and it will. So this is a very, very basic example, but it was kind of fun just to see. It's not hard. It's just an endpoint. And you send back. It appears that your to-do list is currently empty. This is unexpected. As we just added items to the list, there may be a technical issue affecting the plugin to-do plugin. Okay. What about now? So I've got my server running. This is all new stuff. It was working earlier, trust me, but at least you got to see that it added something. So anyway, I wanted to see and expand on this, and before I do that, I really wanted to just see what it would be like to get this going with SvelteKit. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Yeah, let's do this. So rather than, I'll close this down, and I have another program. One of the key things, though, one of the first things that we did, that Nader had us do going through this, is reconfiguring, adding this bit of configuration to our config, for all routes. So it's basically allowing ChatGPT and OpenAI to make requests to any of my paths, any of my routes. And then like a standard, using Next.js, you have to have this API, folder, and then inside you have your different routes. Very similar to SvelteKit. So I think what I'm going to do is just start building some of these routes and just see what the heck happens, even if I don't do so correctly. So I went ahead in this /todos, I'm just mirroring. I don't think I need to. Now there is a todosStore, or a class that was built, and I'm going to do that as a store. So add a lib directory and a stores directory with a I'll call it todosStore. Okay. And I've done some stuff with stores in the past, obviously, and I would say that one of the things we got to do is this import, and it's going to be a writable. Okay. And then I'm just going to mirror what we had from this previous. Where did I put it? Oh, yeah, lib here. So we do this little, have a small little interface. I'm really just keeping it similar. I feel like that's the equivalent else. Let's see. I don't know. This is why we do it. npm run dev. Let's see if anything just blow up on me. Man, Vite is fast though. I'll tell you. I don't think that Next.js uses Vite. I know you can like navigate history. Oh, that's right. Go to first tab. So if I go G0, boom. This is an old Next.js app. If I instead do this, welcome, okay. And if I go here and I do API/todos, what happens? Okay, hey, it at least comes back with like empty data. Okay. I wonder if I can do the same thing. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. What if I... That's what that looks like. That's what that looks like. Do key 1, value 1, they're objects. Right? K2, value 2. Now if I go back to my server, come over here, and say we refresh that. Okay. It worked. Okay. Just double checking I've got like the basics done. So I'm gonna go back to using type. And I don't think that would cause any problems. Come over here and refresh. Yeah, we're still good. Okay. Baby steps. Now, so the next thing I need to do is, let's just see, like, can I add a to-do? So inside routes API, we're gonna add, I'm gonna do add to do. And it has its own server file. This is looking encouraging. There's something about like SvelteKit types. There's some pretty neat stuff happening with SvelteKit types where you don't have to import them like you used to. I don't think I've sorted that out, or I'm doing it correctly. So for now, I'll just have to continue to do like maybe that's it. Maybe they moved it to. There used to be like alias. Like an alias and then slash types and stuff, but I know they're messing around with it where you don't have to yeah. I don't need that type. Let me clean this up a little bit. Where basically you don't even have to send this. Joy of Code did something on this on YouTube. So I'm not going to find it right now, but something to be aware of. So one thing that needs to be done is I need to make this post request. One thing that I've used, and this is just like a space that it's just part of like front end development. Like you need to learn how to do these things. Here, I was already playing around with this when I was doing the original. But like, here's the plugin. Rather than going to the Next.js server, we're doing our 5137, I believe. Let me see. G0 takes me back over here. Oh, 5173. Go down here. Okay. And I'm passing JSON, replace keyword cable. The key is a string called to do. And let's see. You know, this may be an issue. Let's see what our server says. Success is true. I mean, that's what I told it to do. And here it popped up on my server, the JSON add to do request JSON is that. And now if I go to my doing a GET request on Git slash to-dos route. Yeah, cool. So here's my new one. It's an object, key value, and strings. I remember I hard-coded, I initialized my store with these two generic ones just to see, but it's an array. My store, my custom store object has a to-dos property, which is an array, which with a bunch of type to-dos. Yeah. Okay. That's cool. So far, that is working. It seems to be working. So if I do add to do, I know there's a delete to do and all that, but at this point, I should be able to link this up with ChatGPT. Yeah, so you have to do a few things. You got to build an API, which we've, like, I guess you could say we've got something going. Document the API in the OpenAPI YAML, and create a JSON manifest file that will define relevant metadata for the plugin. So there are examples. So like you create this AI-plugin JSON file, and there's more to it. And then let's see, you have, it uses the OpenAPI spec, which follows this kind of schema, and then you got to run it. And I'm just curious, like, whether what I'm going to have to do on the SvelteKit configuration side to let it work together. So let me show you this. This is the Next app, okay? And one of the things that it did is inside, is it lib? No. Felt as if, I wonder if my viewer is not showing, is it public? Ah, yeah, here it is. Okay, well known. Here it is. So you have to create you need to make this publicly available. So OpenAI will, I guess, like when your app is running, this is kind of a file that's available for them. It's kind of being hosted. It's my understanding. And inside of this, you also have a couple of like this YAML file down here and stuff like that. So if I go over to the docs, there's a well-known 3 matches. Well, where the hell are they? Sometimes Vimium doesn't work for me so well known. Okay, yeah. All right, so we have every plugin requires an AI plugin JSON file, and it needs to be hosted on the API's domain. So on the back end, they're looking for a file. So public, I haven't done something like this with Svelte. I wonder if it's the same as static. Oops. So public. Environment, dynamic public. What the hell? These are variables. What about like public files? Public files. project files. Any static assets that should be served as is. Oh, okay, yeah. So we're going to create a dot well known, and then I'm going to, inside of this, I'm going to create a file called AI plugin.json. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I will copy this over, and oops, I don't need to go to there. I want to open this file, and I'm going to call a couple little things. So it's OpenAI. It's not 3000, but 5173. We still need to build this OpenAPI YAML file. Logo URL. Oh, that's right. 5173. And I'm going to call this like SvelteKit. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I could call this like version 2, just to distinguish between the two. Okay. So this is the first part. We have a very like bare bones AI plugin JSON file. We've updated where it, where we're hosting it, like the URL for our server. And next, I think it's in the static. I don't believe, maybe it is well known. Let me go back and look. No, it's right here. So, I'm going to copy this whole thing. Now, I had some issues originally following Nader's example, specifically around like which OpenAPI version or Spec to reference. So there's a little bit of difference there. I think the original one was like 3.0.1. But I could never get that to work. And then I looked at the spec and it had like 3.1 plus. So anyway, this is all new stuff. That said, we have static. Let's create this new OpenAPI.yaml. Yeah. All right. I'm going to change this one to V2 just to, yeah, it's a YAML file. Okay. All right, so obviously got to change the servers. My URL is going to be 5173. Operation get todos. Get the list of to-dos. Components, schemas, get to-dos response. Add to-do. Maybe a little bit different. Add to do, call that the same. We have these like schemas that we need to also define. Delete to do. Don't have that one yet, so let's get rid of this for now. And then there's a delete to do request. I'm going to get rid of that for now. Add to do request. object. It's required. Properties. Okay, so we're going to get this is the response. We're sending back an object, and it has a to-dos property. Its type is an array, and the items are a bunch of objects. Yeah. Okay. So I feel like that's consistent with what I've done already. We're not doing any sort of authentication for this. Obviously, just trying to keep it simple. Best practices. Plugin API responses should return raw data instead of natural language. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. So, what am I missing? Yeah, so see this example has OpenAPI 3.0.1 and I just could not get it to work earlier. So, I feel like we have kind of the building blocks in place. I mean, one of the big questions is whether or not my setting will allow for a new for responses for, you know, OpenAI to make requests to my locally hosted server. That may be the problem. So we'll soon find out. I'm going to go ahead and do a new chat. I'll do the plugins. This time, yeah, you go to plugin store. You know what? Before I do that, I'm going to go see. So the title to do plugin, that's what it says right here. So I'm going to change this up to do plugin SvelteKit. Maybe they don't want parentheses, I'll just do SvelteKit v2. Let's see. So our first step is to go to the plugin store. Plugins are coming around. There's a develop your own plugin. To create a plugin, host a manifest file on your website at .wellknown/AI plugin JSON, which, if my understanding is correct, then that should work. Actually, if I could try this out while my server is running, if I do .well-known/AI-plugin.json. It's public, yeah, okay. So static it is. Cool. So this is like, yeah. Alright, so that is in place. Then enter your website domain below. Alright, well, it's simply, can I just do local host 5173. Find manifest file. Get lucky. Hey. Errors in found plugin. Validated OpenAPI spec, but this did not work. Oh, unsupported manifest schema version. Use v2. Ah, okay. or I mean use v1. Gotcha. So maybe I can't do, this is the OpenAPI YAML, but I need to also change the schema version. It's not for me to change. Okay, so I'll go back to version 1. So what I'll do is just change the title. Now I do feel like I could update this one, but I've already got the title changed, so that should, so really what it was is the AI plugin. So that's what they call the manifest. So come over here, refetch, hey, install localhost plugin. I think it's this one. Uncheck that one. And let's see. Server restarted, page reload, config change, restarting v server. Okay, so let's watch and see if I do, there. Can you tell me what my current to-dos are? Sounds weird, but just run with it. Requesting current. It looks like there's an issue with the format of the to-do list. The to-do items should be in a human readable format, but they appear to be in a key value format. Huh. Okay. Please add more coffee to my to-dos. I mean, that should be a post request, right? Okay. For some reason it didn't like my, which is maybe my default. How many to-dos do I have? Oh, okay, that's cool. So it's complaining about how I initialized my store, and that was more for practice purposes. But what's cool about this, for comparing between SvelteKit and the Next.js experience, SvelteKit, man, I was thinking I was going to have to do some additional kind of initial config for allowing OpenAI to send requests to my server, but seems to be okay, seems to work. So now that I've cleared this out, that may throw things into a loop, but how about now? I've completely killed the, how about now? It may not really understand what the heck I'm talking about. As of now, your to-do list is empty. There are no items. Yeah, probably because I've messed with the store, right? So, okay, please add buy coffee, please wonder if it will do all like 3 separate ones. I did. I'm seeing the requests coming in on my logs, so that's kind of cool. So it's doing 3 separate requests, and this is working. Yeah. It's the little things. And I'll scroll down at lost view. So yeah, if you have any other tasks you'd like to add, great. Okay, nice. So we have, at this point, we have a working get, like fetch all existing to-dos as well as adding a new to-do. So what we have to do next is continue. New route. We're going to create, and this one we're going to call delete to do. Has the same sort of deal, not too different than what we currently have. So I'm going to copy this stuff over. Making a post. But let's see what we have. What did I do? Yeah, it's very similar. Very similar. Yeah. So and that's it. That's it. Pretty darn easy. I need to update the API spec to include, and so, you know, it's like a GET request, the operation, we're calling it, you know, get to do, add to do. I think it has to align with the route that you use. So like we're specifying that the route is delete dash to do. It's going to be a post, and I guess operation ID. I need to like look into that, but just copying it, it's just part of the schema spec, so it should be pretty same thing. So request body is required true, and the content's needs to be a JSON data. And it's going to be a delete to do request. Response will send back a 200 with a description of OK. And here is a component schema, the delete to do request. What's required is a to do object. Required is to do. And the request has a property, like I guess the property value called to do, which is type string. Yeah. I wonder if this is like type string because like, and again, this is just me, beginner, like learning. But I'm making a post request. I'm sending data over the wire. Like, it's not like an actual JavaScript object. Instead, it's probably like stringified, right? Pretty sure that's probably how that's working. So if I save this, and then let me find, actually, delete to do, and I'll put this in a new tab. Yeah, I mean, this was a request event, Was that the exact same? No way. Let me go back. From the, this is the next version, so you have the body. Yeah. It's sending back this JSON. Okay, so yeah. Okay. So the body has a to do. I may have to experiment with this. So let's see. I wonder, I may have to, can you tell me my current to-dos? So it may bug out a little bit because I've made changes like to the spec and everything. So now your current to-do is this. Okay, let's see. Please add practice more often. I don't know. So if I go back to my server log, yeah, okay. It's printing that. Nice. Oops. Scroll down. Okay, now, moment of truth. Please remove pay the bills from my list. Let's see if a delete comes in. Unrecognized function error, remove to do. Ooh. I apologize, but it seems that remove to do function is not available in the current version of the to do plugin. As a result, I'm unable to find. All right, well, yeah, I probably accidentally called it remove to do. How did I do that? I don't know where am I. Oh, yeah. I was going to, rather than saying remove, please delete. Pay the bills from my list. I don't know if that's the phrasing. Unrecognized. Yeah, you know, I feel as if the problem, my hunch, is that I have I think what the problem is that I've set up this chat, initialized this chat, and when it first set up my config and it looked at this spec, I didn't have the delete or remove. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another chat. I think the one that has my Vercel, this is the one that's working because this is my old one from Next. So now, hi there, please add the following to, so let's do practice Vim, practice Vim, buy groceries, and play with your voice. Let's see. It just got a little pop-up saying it couldn't find something, but I'm hoping that it's initializing. Yeah, okay. It's making 3 post requests. Yeah, okay. my now I'm seeing if we should not get any complaints. It should be able to make this post to delete. Crap. Why is that churning? I may be wrong. I thought perhaps when I enabled the plugin and initialized this new chat that it was, maybe set. Oops. Yeah. So, what could it be? What could it be? Well, I'm curious if I can just do like a simple delete. If I try to send this, delete to do, what happens? It says success. It says success, but I'm looking, well, hey, here's my little log, delete to do, request added. Okay, if I go back over here, hit my get to dos, and it's gone. It's gone. Okay, so my endpoints work, at least like locally. Man, is there anything in here that? Huh. No shit. Okay. We just trained the AI. Oh, that was a detour. Oh, man. Okay, so great. Now show me the latest list of to-dos. So, all right, semantics, it's a language model, so gotta use the correct language. All right, so I had a little detour there checking out whether or not I could do actually delete a to-do, and everything checked out, and then just asked it to search for the correct method name, and it seemed to have done it. Now something has happened. Seems to have. Oh, okay. It did. Oh, okay. I say show me, and instead it just does response from to-do plugin, no auth. Here it is. Oh, okay. It was processing. It was waking up. All right, so that took a little bit of time, but yeah, now it's picked up all of these other ones. Please remove, or please delete. Let's get ready. Let's be specific. Practice more often from the list. And then okay, let's see if we can do that. Move that one. Currently had 6, should have 5. You can see it made the delete request. Here's my server logs. Nice, and it prints out my 5. Total number of items is 5. Okay, yay. Now, what have we done? We have replicated using SvelteKit instead of Next.js. Was it worth it? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's a freaking, like, we're just sending requests and basic responses back. I don't know if it was really worth all of that, but you know, it's nice to go through it again rather than just following along with the tutorial and trying something a little bit different. So yeah, we've got something. You know, you've got these main manifest. You've got the main manifest file. Learn about SvelteKit's, well, you know, the static folder and whatnot. You know, I'm more comfortable with SvelteKit, even though it's obvious that I'm not that comfortable with any of this stuff. But just trying to stay within my own wheelhouse a little bit here. I can't. It's hard. It's just too many things at once. I'm just trying to bring this back to some place where I'm familiar with. And working with SvelteKit, its routes kind of setup is easier for me. So basic example in place. Thank you. Major shout out to yeah, here he is, Nader, and his example of walking through. So for all of you who are interested in this from a Next.js perspective, he will walk you through these steps and have a better explanation than I. So before signing off, I want to, on this one, I think, I'm using SvelteKit. It's doing we've attached it up with the ChatGPT plugin. That's working successfully, but, you know, I think at least could, let's see, yeah, I could at least do a, update this page. So maybe it kind of just at least lists out my existing to-dos. So what that means is we have our main page, yeah, and I've got this complicated, this to-dos is not, this todosStore and all this typing and stuff is really, I think it's too much, you don't need to, but it is an example of using a custom store. Inside you can have some of these things. Now SvelteKit has great tutorials on this, so say definitely check that out for a better representation. Oh, yeah, this is my main page. Great. Welcome to that. Let's add a little script tag. And I need to, there's some which server things I need to, some plugins I need to get going to make this a little bit easier. But let's get my to-dos store. Yeah, I'm going to delete some of this. I'm going to just call this like, to-do SvelteKit to-do list. Okay, great. And I'll go ahead and get rid of this. So in like the HTML, we should have, so let's do like an each. Hey, get lucky. Copilot trying to help me out. Yeah, so each todosStore.todos, because remember it's an array. This is kind of neat. It's still showing my my types as to do. Okay. And since I don't really have like an index in my to-dos, but I could do that. I think it's each this has to do, and then yeah, you pass in like a. Maybe I think I just do index. I think works. I think you just get like a generic number. So yeah, all right. So rather than let's just see that we have, and it's not called to-do.text. It's just called. It's just a string, right? Right? Let's see. Yeah. So currently, what happens? What happened here? Oh, okay. I think we're okay now. I think we're going to do is split this and do a different terminal. So I have two. Yeah, right? I guess you should be able to do curl get and then localhost 5173/API/to-dos, right? Oh, it's empty. I must have accidentally gotten rid of some. So let me go back over to my chat. What's my current list? Okay, yeah. So I think I wiped it out. Obviously, this is not persisting. So I think part of like breaking something or whatever, like restarted the server. So let's add a couple here. So, okay. Play Nintendo. Beat God of War. And sleep to my list. I'm gonna go back at this. So I should see some requests come through. Server should be going. I think it's because I added and updated the main home page, perhaps. So this is happening. I'm getting that, and now I'm curious if I go back over here. So it's added this. Now, if I go back over here and make a request, just curious. Yeah, those pop up. Nice. Nice to know. And then if I refresh. It's not working. There. So what if I do like a button and then on click it literally just does something like todos store dot add to do. As an object. And Well, let's see, if I go to do and then add it from client. What does it complain about? So because I have to pass in like I think what we need to do, if it's going to be an inline, then I need to do something like that. Interesting. So when I saved that, hey, why did that happen? What did I just do? Oh. Okay. And that's locally, I'm on, okay, hang on. Hold the phone. Hang on. All right, so obviously like using a store on the server is like, that's not really, like it's not a persisting state, right? You would need to use like a database or at least like a file, a local file that you can, pull from. So if I make a request to curl get like this API route, it shows my original 3, which if I go back over to ChatGPT and I say, what's my list now? And I'm messing with this local store. And I'm using it to, I'm modifying it from the front end. So that is not going to work because I'm just doing, I'm working with like the local store. I wonder, however, if I were to instead, like if you were to make like an async, like a proper send a post request to my API endpoint, which then updates my store. That is probably what needs to happen. So, meaning like async function handle add to do. Okay. And takes takes an item. I'm just curious. So if I did like const, actually I don't need to, I just can do, can I just do await? I feel like that's not quite. I feel like I need to do this because this is calling the stores method, which okay, will just tell me like what do you want me to add, and I'm just gonna add it. I need to instead like make a post request to my API add to do. So I think I can do const response equals await fetch. Yeah. And we're going to API slash add to do, and method is post, and I feel like what else am I missing? It's the headers, content. So I think, like, one of the things that is, I don't think that's right, like content. Something like that. I think what is the problem though, I need to send a body, right? Yeah, and then what I'll do with the to-do, this will be an object with something there, and on click, we're gonna do, let's see, add with, I'm going to do add with fetch, and this is not, this is not, I feel like that would work. So then add to do, it's an object. feel as if, so one of the things that's coming to mind, this should work, or, well, I think I've got that set up, is like, part of like my route, right? I think these headers, I wonder if this is coming, I mean, obviously it's coming into play in some way, but, you know, you're sending a request, right, to add a new to-do. And when I do that, I need to send, as you know, the JSON object, I need to send over an object. And it's been doing things like to do and then like a, you know, key value pair in the object. But this access control allow origin. You know, I wonder if I'm only allowing requests from OpenAI. And that's why, I mean, I don't know. That's a thought that comes to mind. It's like I'm making a request to, or I'm setting and configuring the headers that this response, whenever they send an event, a request comes in, we grab the to-do from the body, and we take that, we update our store, in my state, and then I return kind of a JSON response. I return this response, and it's and from the, you know, and I'm giving it like a success is true, and here's some other things about it. Yeah, I wonder that it all comes into play. So rather than updating my store directly like this, instead, we're going to call this handler, and it's called handle add to do, and inside I think that would work. Hang on. So I would feel that does it need to be, it's a promise, right? So before I do anything, I just want to double check. So when I do curl and I fetch from my endpoint, it has my 3 items. Okay? Nintendo, God of War, and Sleep. They all have a key of to do and then a unique value. Okay. Yeah, and now after, you know, some of these changes have been, you know, I've got this dynamic, this reactive console logging my to-do store, my local store, and it's only showing what I have entered from, you know, initially from the client, this generic one that I added. And in the markup, I literally have it just showing each to do as it's listed. And right now it's only reading from my local, which just may be the case. But now I'm going to try to hit with fetch. So let me go back, sorry, just to make sure, come over here, make sure that everything is good to go. I'm gonna hit fetch and clear out this. Here we go, 1, 2, 3, fetch. Okay, it made the add to do request I'm seeing it in my server logs. Great. That's as it should be. I'm not doing like a load function in my client, in my page.svelte file. So, that's fetching from the store, because we're dealing with stores here. But I've made this new request. If I do that, yeah. So I perform a new GET request to the API endpoint, and it's there. Nothing has changed on the client. I did a refresh, and now, now it's no longer there. My original to do that I added via this, this handler, this inline function, essentially, which is really just calling the add-to-do directly on my store. Okay. Now, I think stores are a bad example of this. That said, yeah, I think this is a bad scenario. Like, I shouldn't to be using a store directly in the server, where I'm doing this line. That's not, it's not really the right approach. Because, let's see, if I were to, if this is my page, if I did something like, I wonder if I could, this being SvelteKit, I wonder if I added a page.ts and I built a page.ts and I created, whoa, did you see that? I created this file and it refreshed, and then it briefly shared or showed the my items. Okay, that's strange. What? This is my server. You know what I could do? Before I do the page, basically what I could do is the exact same thing. So if I copy this and we'll do it up above, and I say handle get to-dos, okay, there's nothing to it, and we literally just it's just like a return await fetch to my to-dos. It's default get. I don't think I have to do any of this. I guess I could ask for JSON. Yeah? Let's see. Because what I'm thinking is if I added this inside of like a load on my page, and instead of
like it basically goes to my API route to do's to fetch, but my API route is set up to where, oh yeah, it'll fetch, but it's not sophisticated at all. It's literally fetching from, look at this, it's fetching from my store, right? And then it will return. So let's see if I were to create another button and we'll handle get to do's. Nothing there. Get. Like, this is very manual. What is it going to do? It's going to hit this API route, which returns the store. And if my store gets updated, then my dynamic console log that's gonna, what would my data be? Should be like to-dos array, or the object with the to-dos property, which is my array of to-dos. Curious, let's see. Get data, yeah, here it is. Okay. Yeah. So this data grabs the correct to-dos that I currently have. All the while, if I go back to ChatGPT, because this is all borrowing and using from the same store object, which is probably not best practice at all, just experimenting with this. So what's my current list of to-dos now? See if this is still, if it should be getting 4, just like I did, because I added the 4th one using an actual API call, right? So yeah, so that's got that. That's good. Now back to this. So it seems like maybe I don't need to worry about these header settings in this case. I am making these fetch, these calls also from, the local, the local host. So I don't think I'm restricted in that way. But yeah, like, this is my current setup, which is handle get to-dos, yeah? Yeah, the data is there, yada, yada, yada. And then I could return this data. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take this code and I'm going to delete it, remove it from here. it's gonna break. But what we're gonna do is I'm gonna open that up, and like we just need like a simple load, yeah? So if I paste this function in, copy that there, I'll move this helper up here. No, this looks a little bad, so handle get to-dos. We'll make a post. We just make a simple get. Yeah. And we're not doing params or anything like that. I feel I'm trying to say, like, yeah, so this data, we've seen it, it's to-dos, and it's what we expect. Trying to think of, I know it's better to not await actually. It's better to handle, like, to return a promise here. Because SvelteKit will automatically resolve the promise. So I do feel like perhaps I've perhaps I have messed this. Should it be like that? Because to-dos will actually be like the array. I don't know. I'm drawing a little bit of a blank. But this is the page load. And this being the page.ts, this will run on the client and the server, actually. But then what that gives you is access to the,
the handy export let data, which is your page data object. And again, this comes from types, but I really think they are changing the API around this. So I could do a console log. I'll call it just page data. Right. Now, this could be loaded to-dos. What a name. And that is, it's a reactive, and it's going to be data, and we'll call it to-dos, because that's what I am storing right here. I wonder. I wonder if this is the right approach. So let me change some names here. So, to-dos data. This is getting, I'm going to go to page. Oh yeah, page load, that's what they call it, page load. To-dos. We're going to do, yeah, let's do to-dos data. And let's just print this out and see what the heck this looks like. I know. Gosh, I know. This is a mess. It's a mess. But I'm trying to figure this out. I think get to do's. Oh, right, we don't have that. Which I don't think we would need. I mean, of course we don't need. I mean, we need it. We're actually using its functionality inside of the load function, right? So really, I can comment that out. Properties to do does not exist on type. Loaded to do's. Wonder if I did like todosStore. And page data. Instead of looping through that, I don't even need to make the data, but I'll do it for now. It's called, what did I call it? Loaded. This is stupid. Loaded to-dos.
still to-do text. A lot of confusing names. Data.todos does not exist. Yeah, I'm like drawing a blank on this. And I may not even need this reactive, but we'll see. So I'm going to go back to my route and see that there's a internal error. All the better. Yeah, we've screwed up some stuff here. If I run this, my server oh, it's still there. Okay. All right. My front end though is blowing up. Could consider doing like if data.todos. No. All right, let me just get this damn thing to work. Why are we still having an internal error? I mean, this will tell me. Cannot use relative URL with global. Use event.fetch. Ah, that's why. All right, so where is my... This is the page svelte. Maybe I think that's what they're getting at. Yeah. Okay. Baby steps. There's an event. Obviously, I could just grab the fetch from event, destructure that, but I'm not going to bother. Still keeping it high level. So, shouldn't have any more server errors. We're still able to grab that. Okay. Now, page data. So here's the moment of truth. So look, my page data, which is from my page.ts file, has an object with a to-dos property, which is an array of my to-dos. Great, so let me go back and look at this. So, I'm gonna close this out. It's over here. So, this PageLoad to-dos data this correctly returned the object with the array. Okay. Now, my page data
this thing, as I currently am it has page data, to-dos, object inside with another, yeah. So what I'm going to do is, I was right. I need to actually not return that, but I need to return the to-dos. Okay? That is my array. So I need that to be just the array values. And I'm going to dump them into the to-dos here. And it's just a promise. And that's okay, because SvelteKit will take care of the high level resolve the promise. Okay, so next, if I just reload, what happens? Yeah, see how it pops up there for a second? My data is, it's see it? Yeah. Yeah. So it's doing that. So the requests and everything are working correctly. I haven't reset my server or anything like that. And each time I'm having my server just print out from the route to do's. Pretty sure it's in this one. Yeah, so printing that out. So what does this mean? Well, one thing is that to-dos property does now exist on that, and I may be able to, yeah. It's complaining, or at least TypeScript is complaining does not exist on type, yada yada. So from the page data, we can see, because my server is okay. The backend is okay. But over here, page data, which is coming from the load, okay, that is pulling, that's correct. My store, on the other hand, not so much. Now I'm curious, if I take from ChatGPT and I make a, let's add an item, refactor code base. Let's see. So ChatGPT is still running, should be able to use my plugin. I've added refactor code base. Is there anything else? No. Hang out for a second. Come down here, come over here, do another little fetch. Got, I can see it right here. Got the new refactor code base. So next, if I go over back to my list, it didn't refresh automatically, but if I hit this again using the load, it's loading the data correctly. Okay, like we're using the same store. Okay, that part is working. I mean working. I don't know. Like it's connected. So like, and for me, we're connecting some dots. That said, something about my to-do store. It has the types. This doesn't have any types because we're like kind of fetched it, and we're using a store as the database, which is not good. But yeah, what is this thing at play here where we can see my to-do store shows and then it doesn't? That's new. Yeah, that's new to me. Because typically, like with a local store, like you should be able to just get it, you know, and access it. But I'm just curious. SvelteKit store values display then disappear. Store data disappearing from page after a split second. Yeah, okay. What do they say? Ah, okay. Yeah, so this is probably it. He says, I feel like this has something to do with trying to manipulate a store used on the client with logic happening on the server, which is totally the case because, again, part of my page load now, I'm fetching this same store. And it's like flickering, but yeah, I'm obviously working and trying to do something with like server-side code on this exact same store object. So that makes sense to me. That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I know this is like poor design. Just trying to see how far we can go and where it starts to break. And I think I found it. So yeah. Okay. Pretty neat. This is a little bit of a tangent, a little bit of a detour from just the basic plugin code, but now I've kind of included a little bit of like data fetching, but also hitting my API endpoint, which is kind of cool to see how I can mess with this. Okay, let's delete the to-do item sleep from the list. I finished that one. Let's see. So this is deleting. This should go through one more time. Hopefully ChatGPT understood me. It's generating. I'm gonna go over to my server, see what happens. Here's the delete to do request that's come through. And great, I've successfully, is there anything else? Nope. Or can you list out my current to-dos? Okay. And it's like, yes, I can, but so there's a little bit of a response, you know, delay, but here it comes. Yeah. So I've got my 4. Makes sense. I removed the sleep, and one last time, going back to my page, it's not like I'm not running like some invalidate all, you know, to update and refresh the page whenever my store changes. That's not really how I haven't designed that into this at all, for this kind of weird example. But if I refresh this, it's going to perform the fresh page load. It's going to, which is actually hitting my API / to-dos route, grabs my current list, which has been manipulated from ChatGPT, and we're displaying them out. Yeah. And I have not used this in a while, but yeah, handle add-to-do, added with fetch to API route. Let's change this text to added with fetch again. I had to save that, obviously, and reloaded the page. I have to work, you know, that's a TypeScript complaint on this data object. I get that, but so now if I go over here and hit add with fetch, I clicked on it, give it a second to do its thing. Meanwhile, I'm going to go over to the server logs, which is right here, and yeah, sure enough, it's adding it. Now, I'm not updating the state, you know, refreshing the display. I mean, this is when you can kind of get into like Svelte actions and stuff. But if I refresh now, here's the new one. And what's my list now? ChatGPT should be hitting the exact same API, performing the exact same GET request. Okay. I think I got it. So, anyway, bit of a tangent, but there it is. Have a wonky example, but the foundations are there with SvelteKit. We've got, again, kind of high-level project structure. We have the manifest and the OpenAPI YAML. The spec is configured and all that, and we have our AI plugin JSON formatted. Big thanks to Nader on that. So hopefully that was helpful. Yeah, we'll go from there. Cheers.